I got a cocktail of painkillers I take every day, and I'm sitting here like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like, I don't know. This is 3 years, give or take 3.5 years. And I'm like, man, like, I'm dying of pain. Like, none of these are opiates by any means. It's all nerve pain stuff. It's all like gabapentin. Fuck, what is this? We got carbamazepine, pregabalin, naproxen. What else we got? Duloxetine. Yeah, a whole bunch of teens and gin. Whole bunch of teens and gins and big words I don't fucking know, but I'm cranking them into my body and I still am pain, so. What's going on, everybody? My name is Professor Parks, and today I get the pleasure of hanging out with a friend of mine, Luiz Fayes. She's from the UK, from Yorkshire area. She is an adaptive boxer. She's in a wheelchair just like myself and many other of my people that come onto the show, but she's taken her skill and honed it to a whole different craft. Like, you've started many different things when it comes to your Kronik Warriors, when it comes to your podcast. You've done you're an aromatherapist. Like, you the sky is the total fucking limits when it comes to you, Louise? Like,
yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, it has to be said, the last few years, but it's probably been randomly the best few years. That comes from something that you don't expect that goes on to be something pretty awesome, like you just said. So yeah.
So what ended up happening with you? Yeah, I know that you were a police officer for a long time. You were a police officer for about 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years, give or take. So was it on the job that something like that happened, or?
No, so this is the point that you just lost all of your listeners because you told them I was a police officer.
Oh, fuck, yeah, everybody's just gone. They're like, oh, we're out of here. Nah, I'm not about this chick.
Yeah. You know what? That was a phenomenal 10 years. I'd always wanted to be a police officer. So to get in, first time of asking was just like the dream. And I didn't expect to do anything different. 30 years, that was me. But the long story short is I've had bits and pieces of problems with my knees all the way through childhood, but I'd been really sporty and active, and you just kind of get on with it, don't you? But it just turned out that they didn't look above or below my knees, and I had a minor form of hip dysplasia that had worsened over time and into my adulthood, really. And I went in for a routine surgery on the right hip, which was the worst of the two. But I walked in relatively pain-free. Generally, it was, doing my job that was causing the pain, doing sports and things like that. And unfortunately, it failed. It failed mechanically, but also left me with some nerve damage in my right leg and hip. So that was kind of the start of the end of the policing career. But it kind of transpired that I also had a degenerative condition that was affecting the discs in my spine, predominantly my lumbar initially. And that was pressing onto the nerves that run into my legs.
So you not only, sorry to interrupt you, so you not only had this hip replacement surgery, you also had this spinal dysplasia at the exact same time, kind of trying to figure all this out. What's going on with my knees? Why is my back hurting? My God, why am I in so much fucking pain right now?
Yeah, literally. And I knew it wasn't me, because I'd always been active in sport. I swam my first length before my first birthday. I danced to a high level, and it was all of this stuff that I had to stop because of these niggling problems.
You were a cyclist too. I read that you were a cyclist, a swimmer growing up too.
Yeah, literally, I lived outdoors. Any activity, I was there. Hiking, climbing, swimming, open water swimming, you name it, I'd do it. Mind you name it now and I'll do it. I'll just do it in a chair or on crutches.
Adaptive. Let's go.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was kind of it all kind of come together. I was medically retired from the police. And for the first year, I felt really damn sorry for myself. I'm massively depressed, suffered majorly from anxiety. I'd gone from this strong, confident, fit woman to a shadow of that former kind of self, really. I didn't know how to look after myself, defend myself, feel independent, feel safe on the streets, something that I was doing, keeping the streets safe. So it just felt, but I gave myself a year as a pity party and was like, right, we need to stop, we need to snap out of it. And I got back in the pool. I'd done a bit of hydrotherapy during the recovery side of things, got back in the pool, loved it, obviously. I wasn't swimming with my legs, I was para swimming. And I thought, right, I think I could probably go on and try and compete at some level in this sport. So I looked at my timings and contacted the Paralympic committee here for swimming. Team GB is based in Loughborough. And they said, this sounds great, your timings sound good, we'd love to look at you, fill out this form, send it back, and we'll get you in. And the long and short of that form was that I wasn't disabled enough. I didn't fit the criteria to be.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! How are you not disabled enough to be? Oh my god, that's the first I've ever heard this. What the fuck? Oh my god.
I'm laughing. I wasn't laughing at the time.
No, I'd be pissed. I'm sorry about laughing. They're just so ridiculous.
Yeah. So I kind of found myself in this
like, what the hell? What the fuck? Like, what?
Good job you were sitting down when I told you that, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't just stand up. Christ. Oh my god. I would have been pissed.
So, as you can maybe imagine, I fell out with swimming. And I was gutted, and I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere, because I didn't fit in with my mainstream able-bodied sports and lifestyle. And this was my first experience of trying to get involved in a disabled community.
I like that, a little show. Also, it just shows you ready to go. This is my first experience of boom. I like that. That could not have happened any more perfect. I didn't do that. I didn't edit that, by the way. That's so perfect. I'll take full credit for that, but I didn't edit that at all.
Yeah. Like I say, I managed to get into a gym, found a brilliant personal trainer, and just off the cuff, I looked at the punch bag in the corner of the room and I just went, oh, I would have loved to have boxed, you know, when I would have been able to. I just never got the chance. And he just looked back at me and went, why don't you do it in your chair? And he looked at me like it was the most obvious thing.
Right.
Back at him as if to say, why didn't I think of that?
Had he seen it before or something?
No.
So
no.
Okay.
No, he's able-bodied. He'd never even trained a disabled person before, really. And so yeah, it just that was the rest was history. So literally, I put my first pair of gloves on that day, and I'm going to give you another really bad joke, but I was hooked.
She was hooked, chat. I like that.
Up and you've had hooks already, all in the space of 10 minutes.
Love it. You know what? Going back to your, you know what? Everybody, I find we have to have that first year of sort of just like depression. Regardless, if you become paralyzed or you get yourself into a wheelchair and any sort of disability, and you come out of that and you're just like, okay, let's go. I want to know what's wrong with you. I want to know what's mentally wrong with you, because, you know, like I don't know, man. Like other than I know a lot of people get into like a suicidal state. If you can kind of avoid that and let yourself mourn this loss, that is like maybe a piece of you, and then like adapt, right? Like you were a swimmer prior, you did some swimming. You were a cycler prior, maybe you've done some cycling now.
Do you know what? I haven't done any hand cycling,
okay.
But a hand bike. I fancy the challenge.
I would love to try a hand bike, honestly. I really would.
I've done it in the gym, like on the stationary one. I bet you do, but you have not done it open road.
Mhm. You know what? That's awesome. So you started boxing, you put your first pair of boxing gloves on, and I feel like you said, you're immediately hooked. This boxing community is like a family to you now. Like I feel like the whole boxing community is very tight. It's very tight knit, very tight family. Man, I love it. I love listening to it.
It is. It's phenomenal, and you see people talk, hear people talk about the boxing family, and when you're outside of that, you really don't appreciate what that actually can mean. But yeah, it really is a huge support. People think that boxing is quite an isolated sport because the only person that's in the ring is you, and you're accountable for your actions and all of that. But there's so much more to boxing. There is a family, there is a support. You'll have mentors that you might have taught you in your amateur years, the 6, 7, 8-year-old who you still phone up in your 20s as you turned over pro, you know. You go into any boxing gym, male, female, able-bodied, disabled, and they'll go, gloves are there, water's there, box.
Beauty.
And they just welcome you with open arms.
Beauty. I love that, man. I love that a lot. So you, prior to you being disabled, have you ever broken any bones? Like you were in the field before, like a pretty active person, you know, like probably broke a couple bones prior, eh?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was forever breaking stuff and snapping stuff, and yeah, I don't think I've got any cartilage left in my right knee.
You ever have it where your knee like pops out and pops back in like that? I used to have really bad knee problems growing up where my knee would pop out and pop right back in. I just put, oh my God. Oh my, for like 2 weeks, your knee would just have a heartbeat throbbing.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember those days of popping the old knee back in.
Yeah, I don't miss that at all.
I can see you literally, the pain, and you can still remember.
Fuck, I don't miss that at all, let me tell you. I'm just lazy.
You do that whole looking away and...
And the sound just like, oh my God.
Sounds so hollow, right?
Like, am I just a Mr. Potato Head? Can I just pop myself together? Like, what's going on right now? Ridiculous.
Well, I'm Mrs. Potato Head because mine made that exact same noise.
So you've got your boxing community. Who is your favorite boxer, like / most recent fight that you'd like to watch?
Oh gosh, when it comes to favorite boxer, I struggle because there's so many predominant females now in the sport.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas only a few short years ago, I would be able to pick out the odd name. I would always look to somebody like Layla Ali, who literally paved the way for females.
Yep.
But then when you look at somebody like Katie Taylor, who in her amateur career fought as Kay Taylor and walked into the boxing ring with her headguard on already, so nobody knew she was a girl.
I didn't know that.
You know, so she's gone from that to being this undisputed, pound for pound, one of the best female boxers ever to be created, and still going on and defending titles left, right, and centre.
Women are whooping ass, let alone the UFC. I am seeing women whoop ass in the UFC. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, Terry Harper, I'm a massive fan of Terry. She's a Yorkshire girl. She's 10 minutes down the road from me. And only 2 short years ago, she was still working in the chippy to pay her bills so she could get through this professional, boxing career. And albeit she's had awful hand injuries recently, and that's affected some stuff. Again, that fight last year at Fight Camp on the Matchroom card with Harper and Jonas, fight of the year.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant.
Love it. So you've done have you always been a part of a plant-based diet? I know now you're part of a plant-based diet nowadays. I don't know if you're still doing that.
No, so that came about through the disability. I started to understand that wheat created inflammation. Sugar feeds nerve pain. I'm not going to go into antibiotics and meat and things like that, but I started to look at what I do and do everything in my power to make the best of my situation. And for me, food was the game changer. So I follow a predominantly plant-based diet. I do eat organic eggs, locally sourced fish, very rarely. And I'll have the odd bit of dairy if it's come from somewhere local, and again, I can trace it back. But the main thing that came from that plant-based diet is I was taking 28 painkillers a day, and I dropped that down to 11.
Yeah, man, this is me. I'm all like fucking painkillers. Like, I got a cocktail of painkillers I take every day, and I'm sitting here like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like, I don't know. This is 3 years, give or take 3.5 years. And I'm like, man, like, I'm dying of pain. Like, none of these are opiates by any means. It's all nerve pain stuff. It's all like gabapentin. Fuck, what is this? We got carbamazepine, pregabalin, naproxen. What else we got? Duloxetine. Yeah, a whole bunch of teens and gin. Whole bunch of teens and gins and big words I don't fucking know, but I'm cranking them into my body and I still am in pain, so.
And this is it. And so massively brought that down. But within literally a couple of weeks, I'd lost almost 2 dress sizes, and it wasn't in weight. It was swelling. It was inflammation that had literally been sat in my thighs and my pelvis and around my back, my tummy. And it just it constantly been feeding away.
Bye-bye love handles. Bye-bye. Yeah.
When, like I say, it wasn't weight. It wasn't fat. It was just this inflammation.
My legs swell up. I don't know if that has anything to do with inflammation. Like, my whole thing is I have an autoimmune disease. I wasn't shot in the back. I wasn't in an accident, nothing crazy. I have an autoimmune disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, and the Guillain-Barré syndrome was so aggressive, and we didn't treat it right away. So I had so much time to attack my nerves, attack my cells, and all that stuff, to where it formed a massive scar on my spinal cord. But it's an inflammation scar, right? So maybe I sit here and think of, man, maybe if my diet wasn't so shit before, like, maybe I wouldn't have had such bad inflammation, or, you know, like, maybe if throughout this time of recovery that I was, you know, more plant-based, I wouldn't have so much crap, because I went through a phase of just pure depression, eating cookies and stuff left, right, and center. Like, I blew up, man. Like, they gave me steroids, like, not the fun steroids, like the steroids, like the ones to lower inflammation, and my head blew up, and then I started eating cookies like crazy, and then my body blew up, and then now I'm just like trying to like get myself back to normal, which I'm really am starting to get there, which is really nice. Really not eating sugar at all. But if I could figure out, man, like, just a way to properly eat, maybe I could lower this inflammation, chill out on these pills. Like, I know you take CBD. I know that. Yep. Maybe, does that help maybe?
Yeah, but again, with CBD, it's the quality of the CBD, and it's given the right dose and been educated in how to take it properly. Because again, there's so much misinformation out there. People will go give it a try. They'll have got poor quality CBD. They'll have not been given the right dose for their condition and their weight. And then they'll go, oh, that doesn't work. Pass me those opiates back again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not out here smoking a fucking humongous cannon of CBD. You're taking droplets under your tongue kind of thing. Like, you're doing it properly. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I mentioned to you just before we came on about that kind of chronic lifestyle. So it's not just about the boxing, it's about a healthy lifestyle for your body and your mind. And what you put in, you get out.
Yeah.
You know? So even if I have like a treat weekend nowadays, you know, here and there, I can tell, I feel like a different person come Monday. I'm not as happy. I'm more hungry than what I was the week before, because your body's craving the stuff that you've just been treating it to.
Wow. Yeah. So when it comes to living life now in this. How long has it been since you've been disabled?
5 years last month.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 5 years. Well, 5 years. So how do you feel things have been? Did you have your dog Demas prior to being disabled?
Yeah, so
Okay.
his life changed massively. We were so active. So we used to do a 6-mile ice cycle. He used to run with me every morning before work, then I'd come home, take him out again. All those weekends in the dales, and you know, doing the hiking and the walking and the open water swimming. He'd do it all with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how old is he now?
He's 11 in July.
Maybe he's liking this. Maybe he's like, you know, maybe it's time to slow down.
I think he's 2.
Yeah. Rocco, come here. I have a dog too.
Oh, let me see.
I'm gonna go get him. My dog is 13 years old. He was fucking behind me the whole time. Come here, Rocco. Come here. Come on. He was behind me the whole time in his cage.
He did. He just snuck out as you rolled off. Oh.
So yeah, Rocco's 13, and he thinks that he's 3 months old. Like, he thinks that he's a puppy. He doesn't stop. He doesn't. He barks. He has fun. He's very obedient. But he'll bark when people come to the door, and then stop the second they come in, kind of thing. Otherwise, he just, I don't know. Like, he's lazy. But the second, I know you are lazy. The second we go outside, it is like. He doesn't stop. He loves everybody. He wants to play. You know what I mean? But yeah, otherwise, just like Demas, just sleeping in his cage, hanging out, doing his thing.
He's quite happy. It has to be involved in every class, though. We cannot do a class without him coming along and just like letting you know you've done a good job. Demas approves.
I'm
he's
here. Demas approved. Fuck. How much time do you spend in your chair? So I see that you have some, like, you're able to stand, right? Yeah. Like, you have crutches. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I'll try my best to use my crutches as much as I can. If I can give you an example, anything above a supermarket shop and above, I'm in my chair. Anything under that, I try my best to do it on my crutches. I just think use it until you lose it. And I know that it's degenerative, so it's all very much part of keeping strong. Yeah.
So was it, fuck, I already forgot what you had on your spine there. It was spinal stenosis, is that what it was?
There is some stenosis, but yeah, it's degenerative discs, and the way that they've just dropped and prolapsed, they're pushing on the nerves that run into my legs.
Okay.
It causes neuropathic pain condition in my legs, but unfortunately it's now in my neck and it's affecting my right arm. But there might be some surgery for my neck in the not too distant future, so we're keeping our fingers.
Yeah. So recently you were nominated for the National Diversity Award. That's pretty fucking cool, man. What was that all about? Tell me about that. Look at her blush.
I still feel like overwhelmed that even happened. Like,
Wild.
Wow.
That was right after I hit you up to do the podcast. And it was like 2-3 days later. I'm like, oh shit, we're talking about that.
Yeah, so the National Diversity Awards celebrate all things in diversity. So there's different categories, and I can't even say it with a straight face. I've been nominated for, sounds stupid, Entrepreneur of Excellence.
Hey.
It's based on the work that we've done throughout the pandemic in bringing accessible boxing classes to the world, and what's come off the back of it. But I need to say that none of that would have happened if it hadn't have been for the amazing people that signed up in the first place. So we are a family. We're a boxing family. We're a community. So this nomination, albeit has my flipping name on it, it's not for everybody.
It's for everybody. Yeah.
And then so that happened on the one day, and then 6 days later we found out we'd been nominated for a second one.
Shut up.
Which is for organisations in the community, and that is for the work that the Warriors have done together to build this amazing family through these times of adversity.
Wow.
So I am so proud of everybody who's been involved, from anyone who's just shared a post to coming on to a class to leaving a review, whatever. It's all meant that we can carry it going and that we've been nominated. So
that's unbelievable. And that just shows the power of a community, the power of like people helping and sharing and being a part of something that's not, you know, so mainstream, right? This is different. This is diverse. This is why you're being nominated for such a different thing.
Well, we had 3 wheelchair boxes on the first day of lockdown, which would have been the 23rd of March, 2020. And now we have over 400 people on the group, 65 members and over 35 active members. And when I say active, they've boxed within the last month.
Wow.
And like I say, I haven't done all that. It's all of everybody, the whole team.
Yeah, you're not going around the world doing all this. This is very community, but this is awesome. Like stuff like this is amazing to hear.
This is my opportunity to say a huge thank you to 2 people in particular. Chattybox Steele, my mental health lead, my social media guru, and just absolute support. Thank you so much, because without you, seriously, not an awful lot of posts that you see would get done, and that shares everything. And then also to Debs Tyson Bashford. Again, she helped support me in setting up the non-profit organisation, and we spent hours on Zoom doing paperwork and all of that sort of stuff. So without my 2 warrior women, yeah.
That's amazing. So you started that podcast called Chatterbox with what's her name? The first one. Rock Steele. Yeah, Rock Steele. Yeah. You guys, and I was listening to the first couple. I would listen to the first 2, and then just before I jumped on and did this podcast with you, I was listening to the most recent one about mental health. And like, yeah, she is a very like outgoing, very like chatterbox. Like, she's a very nice human being. Like,
she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the work that she does for the disabled community, aside from just with the Warriors, has been brilliant.
Yeah.
She Disability Rights UK and the Young Women's Trust. So not only is she representing disabled people, but she's representing disabled women as well. And yeah, very, very intelligent, very competent young lady.
Amazing. Yes, that's awesome. Sorry, what did you say?
On our podcast.
I would love to come on your podcast.
Yes.
I'd love to come on your podcast anytime.
Perfect.
Anytime. The what is the funniest way? I know this is a totally different topic, but we're talking about you being injured. What is the funniest way of you being injured? We try to lighten it up a little bit here. You think there's most recently? What's the funniest way you've been injured? What's the funniest thing that's happened to you recently?
I can't give you a recent one, but I can give you a really funny one.
Yeah.
I was gluing on some nail extensions to my nails, obviously, and the glue slipped out of my hand and flicked up and landed on my eye, and then I put my hand on my eye, so I glued my eye shut and my hand to my eye. That was a good one. Oh, it gets better. It gets better, because the person that was with me picked up the glue, ran me down to the medic, and said she's got glue in her eye, and they've said, show me what it is, and he's gone that, and the glue was stuck to his hand. So he was in one bit and I was in the other, both been doused in saline solution trying to prise this stuff off.
Oh my god. So the saline trying to separate the glue and stuff? Yeah, you're literally like this for hours, like
Yeah. It was, yeah, so it wasn't too recent, but probably the funniest.
That's funny. That's so funny. I see you have a little tattoo right here. What is that?
So I've got 2.
Oh.
This one is my police collar number in Farsi writing, and it's got a thin blue line through the middle. Thin blue line to signal the police, and through the middle to signify that it's ended, and on the wrist because the handcuffs are off.
Fuck, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
What
And
about-
that one, Durham family. So it's the surname from my father's side and then family. So that's
very cool.
for all the in the D side of the family, no matter whether we get married, we'll all still be D's.
Perfect. Perfect, man. So, sorry, I don't really know what an aromatherapist is. I know that my mom grew up an urban day hippie, and I know that everywhere I went, there was fucking scents and beads and just all this crazy hippie shit. So when I hear aromatherapy, boom, I think my mom. Is that something along the same lines there?
I can confirm I'm not your mum,
Okay.
but you're probably not far wrong. Yeah. So aromatherapy primarily is working with essential oils. To alleviate a multitude of symptoms or side effects from something, and they can be emotional or physical. Yeah.
And that genuinely works, or what? Like, what do you think that for a guy like me that's stressing out? Think with me. Here's my if I had to give you my main problem in life, it's not being in a wheelchair. It's being in a wheelchair in pain. You know, the pain is what kills me. I could have a genie. I say it all the time. If a genie were to come up to me and be like, Brandon, either I can make you stand, but you'll still be in pain, or wheelchair and not be in pain. It's the wheelchair every time. I wouldn't even finish my breath.
100%. I totally understand that. So it came at the same time as that plant-based lifestyle, trying not to chuck all this crap down my neck. And so I do am I allowed to plug here? I don't know if I'm allowed. One of the most prized or proud oils is called Secret Garden. And it's a blend of specific essential oils that help to target nerve pain and joint pain, and also with the inflammation around that area. And because it's completely chemical free, you can use it as much or as little as you like. It's not thinning the skin like a lot of like the deep heats and those kind of real strong ibuprofen cream kind of things.
Burns.
Yeah, and just little tricks like lathering that area in the oil, wrapping it in cling film for half an hour, really letting it penetrate into that joint or into those nerves, and giving yourself that self-care, massaging those oils in. All of that forms part of the holistic therapy. So whilst you're applying it to the skin, you can smell it. So those essential oils receptors in the front of your brain, obviously travel up your nose, attaches to these receptors, and that then links to memories, whether they be positive and negative, and that's where aromatherapy really works. So if you were saying about earlier about being stressed, so sandalwood, for example, is really nice as a grounding, relaxing, calming oil.
Yeah, sandalwood. I put the sandalwood under my pits.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
So that smell, and it makes you feel fresh and clean on a morning, then that is a smell that would work really well for you. So if there's sandalwood in that oil, you're feeling grounded, you're feeling relaxed as you're applying this, because you're getting the aromatherapy benefit and applying it subcutaneously going into the skin.
You know what I need? It's not even about like jumping into this lifestyle of like plant-based and therapy and all that shit, but I do really want, like, I've recently gotten the good foods that come to your door, HelloFresh.
Yeah, we loads of the HelloFreshes. We looked at how accessible they were.
Perfect. They're fucking perfect. I don't want to go to the grocery store, okay, all the time, especially where I'm at right now. We're in a serious lockdown. We're like lockdown number 4. And our premier is just doing whatever the hell he wants. Our premier is a joke. So, with that being said, like this HelloFresh coming to my door and giving me those meals, it is unbelievable. The amount of pizza and stuff that I ate prior to that is ridiculous. Like I find now, like you said, when I'm like, damn, I didn't take out the chicken too early, right? So I might as well order a pizza or some wings. I feel so shitty. I feel genuinely terrible the next day. then it's like that day, it's the next day, and I'm still kind of like, even the next day after, where I'm like, man, I should have never eaten that. Like, that was crazy. And I don't know if my body considers it a treat or whatever, but I go in. Right? I go in on this pizza. Right, so when I eat like the good foods and I start getting into like eating a lot more vegetables and shit, I feel great. I feel much better. I noticed that I'm losing weight. I wouldn't mind getting into different scents. I love my incense. My mom passed away when I was 18, and I kept a lot of her hippie shit. So one of her hippie things is like it's like a incense holder.
Yeah.
And I'm cranking it. There's incense lit right now. Like, there's never not incense lit in my house. And like you were saying about smells, it reminds you of things, like a memory style thing.
Well, we could certainly create something that would help you feel close to your mum as well.
Mm-hmm.
You could burn that around with your incense and stuff. So we could work on that. We can do that.
That'd be fucking awesome, man. That'd be awesome. I would love that. If you could have a dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would you choose? 3 people.
Okay, so I don't know if you're gonna know him. So alive, Trevor McDonald. He's
a rapper. He's a rapper. No, he's not a rapper. No, okay. I thought he was a white rapper with the dreads. I thought or he was talking about.
No, he's a black journalist, news reporter, newsreader who coming up through the 80s and 90s was you're searching him, you're googling him, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was just a face that was constantly on the TV for me growing up, and I love his voice and I love his knowledge and in stuff. And I'm a big reggae fan, and I've got my friend's got a dub plate with Trevor McDonald on it, and he calls himself Trevor Ranks, and he freestyles a few bars on this reggae track on this dub plate from like the 80s. And since I heard that, I've just got so many questions.
Trevor McDonald, An Improbable Life.
Trevor Ranks, definitely. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to. This is so tough. I'm gonna go with Muhammad Ali.
Hell yes.
Do I even need to say why?
Mm-hmm. Are your parents around still?
Name off the top of my head, and I always say from the Sheik.
Oh.
Nile Rodgers.
Okay. Never mind. I wasn't the guy I was thinking of.
As fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's just the most smooth musician. Yeah. So completely different people, but.
So what kind of music? You say that you're into reggae and stuff like that. What kind of music are you into? Other than is it just strictly reggae?
Yeah, reggae, rootsy kind of dub. All the old. I love the 80s rubber dub.
Love it.
70s, like real melodic lovers rock and that kind of stuff. I'm not great on current music, if I'm honest. I'm really, like I say, really old school and probably stuck in my ways with my reggae. But I can appreciate all different.
Current music isn't very good anyways, man. Don't worry about it. You're not missing much.
What about you?
If I had to have dinner with 3 people, it'd probably be one of them being Will Smith. The dude is an absolute legend. Like, he's very knowledgeable. Just the path that he's taken in life. I've always wanted to kind of be like Will. I've always figured myself younger, like the same as him, chilling, happy, flirt with the girls or whatever. That was just always me, right? Didn't matter about skin color, man. It was the same shit to me. I was all day long with the Will Smith. Joe Rogan. Yeah. Joe Rogan, because I mean, Joe Rogan's the man when it comes to everything, right? Yeah. Even when it's like watching that guy go from Fear Factor to small parts of movies, and then really just explode with the UFC commentating and then the podcasting. It was like, whoa, what the hell? And like just again with the knowledge, the amount of knowledge that I could take in from these guys, not to mention just get drunk and stoned as shit and talk about it. And then my favorite musician is Machine Gun Kelly. You probably don't know him. MGK. I would throw him in the mix too, just because me and him are the exact same person. literally, like, he's like 2 years older than I am, and watching him grow up. I remember in high school, somebody came out to me and was like, hey man, you remind me of this artist. He's like an underground artist, Machine Gun Kelly. And I went and looked him up. I didn't really like him, didn't really think I looked like him. And then turns out a year or two later, a friend of mine was like, hey, you want to go Machine Gun Kelly's show? I had never been to a show before. I said, yeah, sure. Went to my very first show as him. I loved him. I got a huge tattoo right here of like, I probably couldn't lift it up. But yeah, I just love him. I just love him and his music. So to throw him in the mix with Will Smith and Joe Rogan, I think it'd be a wild time. It'd be wild. It'd be some crazy Motley Crue type shit. It'd be wild.
I'm coming to your party.
The thing was, when I was younger, man, like prior to me being in a chair, like some of my friends say like maybe this happened for a reason, like a blessing, like maybe I wouldn't be around anymore if this had never happened to me. I ran into a bit of money after after coming out of my chair, just because of a pass away, an inheritance, and my friends were just like, man, if you had gotten into that and you were still partying, getting into like the coke and stuff like that, you might not be here anymore, right? You might have just partied yourself right out, right? Kurt Cobain style, or, you know. Or I guess Kurt Cobain shot himself in the face, but yeah, wrong guy, Jimi Hendrix. But yeah, I don't know. We're here. I've invested all my money. I've learned into what money really could be. And it's not alcohol and drugs and partying. It is investing for your future. I now have all my money invested. I'll have a house in the future. I think that things are coming up for me in my life. I think the only thing I need to focus on is pain. Like I have my disability that I get from the government. That's great. I don't want to be on disability for the rest of my life. I want to be a member of society. I want to be like paying taxes. I don't care. Like I want to pay tax. I want to be a part of society, and not because I'm in a very like where I live, it's full of poverty. So watching that and just being like, man, I don't want to be. Do not loop me in with these guys. Like I am not a crackhead. I am not a homeless person. I'm just in a wheelchair. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? And that's the whole why we talk right now. That's why we have our things to show a little bit of awareness towards that we can live. I got yelled at for saying a normal life because we don't live normal lives. Somebody got really angry when I tried to come to them on the podcast. I was, hey, would you like to come on my podcast? You know, like trying to show people that we live normal lives. And she was like, well, I don't live a normal life. And she was very obviously still in this dark place, right? She was still in that first year of dark places. So I was like, you know what? You do your thing. Clearly, I remember being in that spot. So yeah, we don't live normal lives, but we can live normal lives. Like we can live, I don't even know how to say it. Like, adaptive lives, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is.
Well, everybody's normal is their own kind of normal. So whatever normal means to you,
right?
That's normal. So that person will live a normal life. It's normal to her. It might not be normal to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the great thing about podcasts like these, because it's raising that awareness and being able to have those conversations about those terms. I hate people saying they suffer from something. I'm a big believer in the language that you use is the language that you believe. So I learned quite quickly that I wasn't going to suffer from depression. I was going to manage depression. And funnily enough, I've had a new patient appointment. I moved house, so I've been to a new GP surgery. And so they were asking me all these questions. And she was like, do you suffer from anxiety and depression? I went, no, I manage it. She went, from it. I went, no, I manage it. Yeah, but you suffer from depression. That's what I asked. And I've just said to her what I've just said to you. And she thought I was being awkward. And I kind of
She thought you were being cheeky.
Yeah. Stopped her and I went, do you not think that this is the problem? If a person's going into a doctor's surgery and the GP or the nurse is saying suffer and all of these negative words, you're going to come out of there feeling negative about what it is that you've gone for. Yes, I'm going to have depression, but I manage it. That doesn't mean the day is good. You have good days, you have bad days, but I manage my condition. You manage your pain. We're going to manage it even better in the future with some essential oils.
Yeah.
and stuff, you know. And I think that going back to that whole word normal, it's your own kind of normal.
I have a big problem with talking down to myself, like even in my own head. Like if I fuck something up, I'm like, oh, you idiot, like what the fuck are you doing? Like you're stupid. Like, and I think that like even growing up, like I had like my mother would call me a fool a lot when I would do something wrong. Like, oh, you fool, what are you doing, you fool? And like I say that to myself now. You know, I need to separate that from my life. Like if you talk about yourself in a certain way, like that's what's you're gonna portray yourself in that way, man. Like you're gonna feel down. Even if I don't say it out loud, I'm saying it in my head, and I would really like to not do that. Like I said, I think that my biggest problem is pain, and when I get in pain, I get anxiety, and when I get anxiety, the pain's worse, and it's really just a snowball effect of bullshit, right? So
yeah, totally is. It totally is, and I get it, and that's again the great thing about our community. It's always
community, man. I love it. I love communities. So we usually end this podcast with a would you rather segment. Now, a couple of these questions I've been asking quite often. I'd like to ask something different. Fuck, you don't really I got a bunch of random questions. I think the thing we'll go with you would be, would you rather be a deep sea diver or an astronaut? And this is big. Think about your disability.
This is, that's not fair.
That's what we're here. That's what we're here for. We're here for.
No, I'm going to play with the fishes.
All right, go and swim with the fish. Hey, you're already a swimmer. You're already a swimmer.
I know. As soon as you said sea, I was like, there's no other.
Yeah.
I'm there.
But remember, you're not disabled enough to be a swimmer. Remember that.
Diver. You said a deep sea diver.
Deep sea diver. I like that.
The committee can't stop me from being a deep sea diver.
I love it. I love it. So, where can my audience find you, Faye?
On Kronik Warrior UK.org.
Kronik Warrior. That's your website, eh?
Right? Yeah. And on there you'll find all of the stuff to do with the boxing, emotional health, nutrition, aromatherapy. So it covers all of that. It's like I said, it's an adaptive lifestyle. And then all of our social media is Kronik_Warriors across everything.
Love
and that's
it, man.
A at the beginning and a K at the end, guys.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So just really quickly,
yeah,
the Kronik Warrior title branding came because, and you'll appreciate this, people who suffer or manage chronic pain call chronic pain warriors.
Right.
Okay. And we use a lot of hemp in our oils. And you know that chronic with a K at the beginning and a K at the end is also a colloquial term for hemp-based products. And so it's a nod to the Kronik Warrior community and to the fact that we use natural stuff.
Hey, I like that. I also like your puppy. He's so cute.
He's too cute. I can't believe he snored the whole way through this.
Yeah. Slept the whole time. What is this little collar? Is this like a belt?
Oh, what on his picture?
Huh.
It's actually a WBC World Champion belt collar.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, a lovely guy at WBC, Dave Walker, he manages Reyes for the UK and WBC here. He gave it to my little champ.
That's awesome. Well, I'd love to talk to you more. I'd love to get on your podcast. So if you want to hit me up and we'll do that, we'll talk more off air and we'll do our thing. I'd love to do that. Yeah, 100%.
Hey.
Take care, Louise.
Take care. Bye, honey.